All right, and we're live. Welcome everybody to episode number 12. We're a dozen episodes old. And that's what, 4 months? Yeah, 3 months now. So
well, that's even crazier when you put it like that.
Damn.
yeah, it's gone by really, really quick. It's been a lot of fun.
That's a large portion
So
of
good to
Jason's
see you.
life.
We've got a little different crew tonight. Half of us are still here, me and Mr. JG too, as you see. And Daniel Zippy is filling in for Adam this week and Joshua. So Adam is out playing with planes tonight. So Zippy volunteered to step in and be abused all night.
I do that
Zip.
any day for you, Stevie.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it, bud. And we have our special guest already sitting in with us, Mr. Jim Brewster, Mr. Formula V man. So good to see you, Jim.
Legendary.
Welcome.
Got it right there.
Yeah.
Legendary
Yeah,
Jim Brewster.
awesome. The legend himself.
Yep.
So our typical way we do things is we're going to set up and do some reviews of last
My bad.
weekend's. I'm seeing things go flashing all
Sorry.
over the place.
I was trying to put that on a different screen, and then I forgot which one I was sharing. My apologies. I'm trying to read the YouTube chat, and it's literally as far over that way as it can, and I feel rude turning my head to the camera. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's all right. The rookie strikes again.
You're welcome.
Stuff is zipping by.
Meow.
Yeah.
There goes the show.
So we're
One
going
brand.
to get through the reviews of last weekend's Weekend Warrior races, all three of them. And one that Jim was AWOL for, but had a good excuse, I think. So
I was doing my
Tam's
James Bond
already
impression.
Tam's already in the chat saying hi.
All right, all
everybody.
right.
Guido, Michelle's there, Trenton, our good crew in the chat. That's a big part of this podcast is having everybody join us. So good to see you guys as well. What do you think, JG? You ready to do some
Let's
reviews?
get it. Yeah, we had some interesting races. Lots of incidents this weekend. Reflecting back on it, but Formula kick it off with the Formula V's at Rudskogen.
Okay, that's a subtle hint to hit the
Cue
footage,
Zippy.
right? There you go. Magic button
Yeah,
engaged.
Zippy.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Got a very disorganized field going on to the start finish straightaway. Ready to get
Obviously,
things up
courtesy
and
to
rolling
Jason
for
for
this
doing
third
the
race.
snipping and the
Absolutely.
clipping.
Green flag that, and the drivers are
Some
all
sound
under
with
way,
that.
and all of
Yeah,
that
no, the
is
sound is
nice
on.
nonsense. Thortulo going to
Okay.
be leading them heading down
I'm
to
guessing
the
you
turn.
can't hear it then.
Coming on the broadcast, we're
Yep.
just not hearing it. So they could.
I'll have a tweak, Stevie, see if I can get it to you as well.
Oh, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Side by side,
Okay.
hang down the back straightaway,
Yeah.
off into turn number
then
three,
cold
and
tires
fully
down
all
through the
these
sleeper.
drivers is going to have to concede, and it looks like Green isn't going to be the one
No
conceding.
incidents.
Instead, he's going to be able to
Yep.
get the move done spots. Mainly
These
short
are a
of
little better
converting
on the
Australian
tires than the
7
Formula
spots where he
Fords.
started
I
in
think
this
we
race
did
to
have
turn
one
number
spinner at the
5.
back
Having
in
a
turn
fantastic
3.
opening.
It's not the tires,
Formula
Stevie.
Dor, meanwhile, having
Nothing
a
huge.
terrible run from
Yeah.
turn number 1. That may be a game
Was that
changer.
Adam
Again,
and
Spec 1
JG
driver gonna be
getting
able to
close
get that
together?
move done on the
No,
Dor
Adam
off
wasn't there.
into
That
turn
was
number
that's
3, and
Parvinder.
also well done to
And
Oh, okay.
Parvinder got a
Brewster,
little
who
unlucky
was a
there.
driver
He
that started at the very front
Yeah,
of
slowed
the
down.
broke a little late.
field,
Yeah, he got
wanting
the
to go
slow
off
down,
the
and then
sleeper,
he
but ran into
unfortunately
a
didn't
troubling
wasn't able to
accident
serve it
hanging
in
off into turn
time,
number
so he
1.
got a black
Ooh,
flag.
That's really ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking to try and turn things around, and is nearly turning around.
Stevie,
and turning
you know, a big part of
Lotari.
the quality racing, Stevie,
For
is,
Michael
you know, when you
McConnell, I
practice
Sometimes
all
we
together
are
for 2
definitely
hours,
starting to pack,
you know, on
drive
Friday
through
night,
as well. The packs
it
are
really does
forming
help the race.
a bit of a hornet's nest here.
You
in the
guys
midfield, so we should
have
see
an
some
awesome
fireworks
thing
here
going there
pretty
every
soon,
Friday
I
night with the draft parties.
It
Mhm.
helps,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
we're
we
gonna see
figure
some
out,
fireworks
you know,
near
we do all the
contact
hitting
heading
and
through
crunching on
turn
Fridays,
number
you know.
2. Have some fisticuffs break out, riding on
Try
So we can do stuff like this. safely.
Esports car. He's
Yeah.
locked in a
Look at
Hornets
this,
race.
good
Formula V
race.
race cars
Hornets
careening
next
down
third.
that
Because
back
on
straightaway
Friday,
off
on
into
purpose,
turn number
we
3.
bunched together.
Jacobson running
You
at
know,
13
and we
as
do
4
go after
cars right
this.
in front of him.
Well,
One of
that's-
them
yeah.
Marin, who's
Oh,
gonna
sorry,
lose
Jim.
out on a spot to McQuillan. So McQuillan
Definitely
Yeah,
helps
so that's-
help my wheel to wheel racing for sure.
As we saw some side-by-side
That's some of the
fighting
backstory. If
involving
anybody
Roval
doesn't
and
know
Roval
that
headed off into
Jim
turn
hosts
number 1.
a,
That's
or
gonna be
Michelle
the opportunity.
hosts
If
a
these
draft
drivers
party
there,
on Friday
however,
night
sets your
to practice
you up for
for
absolute
this
That's
league
success.
nice.
race.
Heading down into turn number 3 and 4.
Well, and we
Yeah,
can
John
call it a
Gustav
draft
slips
party.
into
It's a
full
very
effect
social
Travis
event.
Rail,
There's
trying
no
to get that
pressure.
move done,
But
look at
once
the
we get
fight
warmed
back
up,
from
like after the
Bakan
first
on the
10, 15
inside
minutes,
line.
we got a basic
that was
idea
a
which way
great
the
little
corners go.
defensive move
We
from
just
Mario
bunch
there. He
together
sort
and
of
we
did the
figure
little
out
switch
where the
back
draft
on him and
points
shake and
are,
bake, and
where
we
the
got
good
the
passing
position back,
points
so
are.
that was
Because,
really
you know,
good.
every track has
It's
good
another one of
passing
these
points
tracks,
and
actually, that kind of
bad
allows you to
passing
do that.
points.
Oh,
Oh!
way
Right
too
there.
deep in
That
and
was a
sends
bad
him
passing point.
flying.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
That was
not
actually a
a
poorly
good move at
executed
all.
pass.
Very low
That's
performance.
gotta hurt.
Yeah.
In the weekend
A little bit of
Warriors,
target
well, that's
vision,
one of the
I
reasons
think.
why these races are both so
Dan
Allen.
said pass along the password for the
involving
the
Jeff
draft
Jacobson
parties
and
is
Gaston
FV.
side-by-side
So
heading
if you
off
want to
into
join
turn
in with
number
those
1
guys
and
on
2.
Friday
Looks
nights,
like Jacobson
password's
going to try and
FV.
get that
And
position.
that's-
I hear it's
it's
almost
a-
more social. It's more
Yeah,
social than it is practice, just about.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've learned a lot of secrets about each other, you know? And
That's a good way of
Some
putting
of them you
it.
can even,
we've created some
some of them
nicknames.
you can even talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people even volunteered their own nicknames, which was pretty strange.
Don't have a good feeling about that. Gonna hopefully
Steven
try
had a
and
good
find
week
out
this
just
week.
a couple of moments
Yes, he
time
did.
to see what exactly
It's
went right.
lap
Wrong
11,
side by
Sor
side
finally
with
made a
Brewster
little bit
getting
of
that
mistake,
move
so
done on
Stefan took
Tulo,
took
heading
advantage.
downhill into turn number 10.
And this
He
is
got
when
it
the
down there
battling
for
started
sure,
between them.
and that's how you do it. It looks like
Oh,
Thor's
who's
gonna
this
come
guy?
back at him here as well into T1. So these guys are battling, man. They're not.
Yeah, I
looking
had
to
already
jump away from these guys
seated
at all. They want first.
seated third to Guido because I gotta slow down a lap after I said Guido, he was cutting too much. I gotta slow down.
If they risk it a little bit too hard,
So we had a new guy at the start of the back of the pack. Anyway, I fixed up his points and I found out his secret to going fast. He has a 7,000 IR.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that helps.
I was about to say,
And you know,
his secret is just he goes fast.
Yeah, is that him there? I think that's him there. Passing
No,
in.
that's
Is that Andrew?
that's Alan.
Okay, that's Alan. Okay.
Yeah, and
Was.
unfortunately,
Alan
yeah,
got
just a
mugged.
little tap, and
upside
man, he
down.
That's Jeff.
shoved the
Yeah,
ball
I think
for some
Yeah,
reason.
he wasn't
they come
quite
together.
clear.
We need to keep
Yeah.
a counter this season to see how many flips we see between
Open
now and
wheels.
the end of this season. 13
Yeah, that
races
Thor
we
and
have to look
Stefan were
forward to,
battling the
and this
entire
sixth one
race,
is
or I
going
guess
on a
pretty much from
brilliant
lap
show.
11 on.
Heemskerk and Tulo side by
excellent.
side, hang down into 3 and 4. Heemskerk on that inside line is a wheelman in these Formula V weekend.
Guido. He
Warriors
looks so
races.
young
All
in that
these
picture
drivers
as well.
are
I'm sorry, we got to
absolutely
roast Guido for that
fantastic to
picture.
see.
Oh yeah, submit a
Tulo
picture that's maybe
getting a
10
move
years
on
ago.
him by Heemskerk off into turn
Oh,
number
it's the
1.
Adam Thompson, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Adam looks like he's maybe still in high school.
What we're seeing heading off through
He is,
5 and
isn't he?
6.
Yeah.
Tulo on
Oh,
that
this was
inside,
some
gonna
great,
turn to the outside,
great
off through
camera
turn
work
number 6. Now he's gotta be
from
back
Josh.
in the
Guido
He's,
says he is
7
young.
and 8.
was on the correct
Yeah.
onboard at the
Back
correct
out,
time.
look at
Ooh.
Oh.
Too close, Mr. Green.
Having to take
Skill
a
issues.
back
Accordion
after
bites.
tapping the
Yep,
back.
just
Yeah.
missed
You got
that
bit
bit.
by accordion at
Last week, yeah.
Oscar Slavin too.
You,
You got
yeah,
the
just
nose cone accordion.
yeah, and yeah, just not to spin out Guido. I avoided. So
Walk tracks in a row, so
It's
I
so
think
funny that, you know,
JG
when-
had a rough
back or
week.
anything here, but I'm
here's
This
a
whole weekend was a little tough.
Oh,
little bit.
Oh my goodness.
Although not as tough as that.
I look like Michelle got killed in that.
Yep.
Sorry, Michelle.
So Jason, it's funny that when you slow the nose cone of the vehicle down, then sometimes the back end still keeps going at a higher rate of speed than the nose cone.
Yeah, I've never thought about that before. That's probably where I keep spinning. But yeah, it's just I could not spin, but then I would spin the car in front of me. So I always choose the the other option.
The gallant gentleman.
Yes.
I know
Guido.
nothing of this.
Yep. Green into the grass.
Thor was face down. Oh, yeah, Thor was able to make a pass in turn 1 the last lap. Hold Stefan off. They had a great battle. Guido just couldn't. It's very difficult to pass, even if you're the second car in line, much less the third car. But Guido drove an amazing race again. Very smart race.
It's a good result for Simon Mayer as well. I remember
Yep.
covering him for the SRFs. It didn't quite go as well, but 4th place in FV, that's pretty tidy.
And Sean
Simon
McLuhan
is
showing off his alien credentials. Started in last, made it
yes,
up to 6th, only 3.5 seconds off the lead.
and he had fastest lap, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
by
Yeah,
chunk.
yeah, on the very last lap when he
Uh,
caught my draft.
And they're saying he's an
Oh, okay.
alien, not because he's from Australia, ladies and gentlemen, but because he has a 7,000 IR. I just want to clarify that, just to be sure.
Well,
Double-
and
double
Guido's
alien.
saying he's the fastest he's ever met in the V's. So.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
that's
super quick. Yeah.
I'm sure 4 will get
And I
over
think
that.
one of
but-
his partners is coming in next week.
Oh, goody.
Oh,
I
really?
think I
Really?
saw something about
So next
there's
week,
another one.
and next week is Summit, classic V track. I mean,
Mhm.
I love that
the
track.
race.
Yeah.
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 It
So we're
really works
talking,
well for these.
Yeah, Jim and I were talking before we started. The last 3 weeks really have been more follow the leader kind of tracks for the V's. Next week at Summit is the complete opposite of that. Anything goes. It's a huge draft track. We'll be back to 3 wide into turn 1 every lap. I'm sure.
I can see the
So,
left, the
it'll be
left
crazy.
hander being good because after you've gone turn 1,
Mhm.
turn 2, you go past the little kink and then that really sharp 90-degree left hander.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there.
It's not
Turn-
too bad. It's
turn
mostly
5.
turn 1. It's mostly
Yep.
turn 1.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm.
turn 5 isn't.
Yep.
Occasionally somebody will get a good run around the outside if you get traffic on the inside, but not too often. It's 1. It's mostly the main straight in turn 1.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we got. I
Five
will speak
lumps.
to this when we pick out the schedule next year. It gets rid of some of these follow leaders.
Mhm.
I mean, it's good to mix it up. It's a different kind of racing, especially at Oschersleben. It was very, very challenging to stay in front because you pretty much could not make a mistake. If you made a mistake, then you would get passed.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of racing. But
But
if you do those tracks
part of
every
that
week,
is
then
the people you hang out with, Jason. That's
I
a
mean-
big part of that. When you've got muggers and thieves at your hindquarters at all times.
hmm
All right, let's get on to the Formula Fords at the Roval.
Oh boy,
The SRF.
Let's strap Jason in right now.
this was
Get his
the
seatbelt on.
You are
The
clear
flash
to
is
take
very
off.
We're still focused.
Ignition!
Uh-oh,
There he goes.
Oh, man. Before the
So
green.
I actually got super
What happened,
lucky
Jason?
in that. Oh, I just messed up. I misjudged. I thought it would be clear of the car on my left, and I wasn't.
Well, it wasn't. There's a little bit of curb action, right?
Yeah,
That sort of slid you
but
to the left a little bit.
I mean, no, I thought I had to get enough jumps to be clear, so I didn't leave so much room. And yeah, luckily I didn't take Julian out or George,
There we
who I
go.
landed on top of. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was more clear than I was.
So you
So
towed.
yeah,
There,
and
on
luckily
top.
I did not
Lap?
make it. I didn't make it to the start finish line, so my tow was only 40 seconds instead of like 2 minutes. So like that was the
on the
one.
lead lap. You're on the tail end of the
Yeah.
lead lap.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I came out like 13 seconds in front of the leaders. But we had, apart from the attrition, we had some incredible battling all throughout the
There we
field.
go.
Oh man, it
Well,
was.
there's
like this.
4 of them. It's Trenton and the crew in front of him. Adrian. They had a great fight.
Yep.
Yeah,
Michael,
Michael, Trenton,
Josh,
Kevin.
Soren.
Yeah, Soren.
Kevin,
So-
yeah.
So I missed practice in qualifying. Started last. I made it for 25th to 17th before the chicane and then spun myself out on the first lap.
6
After going from 20
F1
to
drivers, all
17,
keen,
it was
all
like, what a
motivated,
waste.
and these guys are definitely not
Tim
slackers
says
as
the
well.
ejector
Kevin
seat
Adrian,
is supposed to
he's
leave the
2
vehicle
places
behind.
behind Wilkie. Whoa, that was contact there.
I got me. I wish we'd all prepared for
It
this
looked
and
like
put up
Adrian
cards with like
almost
5.9,
gave Cole a little
5.2.
bit of an
Yeah.
upset.
Just
Right.
the roast was there.
Yeah, that was big error.
And it looks like they're
The
going
ca-
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I only took out myself and not anybody else.
Yeah, look at
this
this
fight.
fight. Look at this fight.
Oh,
that's where.
I don't know how Michael made the corner after that. I would have gone straight.
That's a certain young gentleman who
Here we
is
go.
pretty
Three
brave
wide.
nowadays.
4 wide.
No,
No, George back out of it.
Oh.
That green car has no fear nowadays.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think he ever. Or I guess which green car are you talking about? Both of them don't.
I think you mean Wilkie, right?
No, the one in
Yeah.
the front
Yeah,
has
well,
the least
yeah.
fear. No, Trenton is.
Although
Joshua in the front is, we'll see it in the points later, but he's overall.
No,
has-
Trent.
has
Oh,
been right.
bye-bye.
Oh, there goes Trent.
Never lift.
The alligator.
Following a
Yep.
replay, the driver of the number 21
It's funny, Formula
car
4 doesn't
right
handle the
now
same as a
just
Mini
will
Cooper.
be heading through turn number 7 right now.
That was a troll if ever I heard one.
So this track, I
Oh!
was very surprised
Super
at
unlucky
just
for Antonio.
how tail
I
happy
believe
this
so.
track was.
These guys
Turn
definitely
one,
reeling them in, which is quite
I eventually
surprising
spun on,
considering
but
they've been battling so
I was
hard, but
noticing
as
that
I'm
you
watching
were right
Trenton
on the
Kramer,
limit
I'm
at
seeing
turn
he's
one, right after the
he's more of a
apex.
slow
Yep.
and
I also
fast out
noticed
kind
my
of guy,
hands,
and
I was
think that is
almost
actually
turning to
working
the
for him. As
right
you
to
see, it
turn
looks like
left.
George Gonzaga
It's like
is
it
going to
really
go
was
for it
right
as
at
they
the
head
very
down
edge,
into
and you'll
turn
see
one.
that it
That's a
bit a bunch
ballsy
of
move,
people.
but he's made it
Mhm.
stick. Yeah, a lot of weight
Oh,
or transfer.
has he?
Trenton Kramer has gone and
You
done
had to
it
keep the
on the
power in it to
outside.
keep pushing it around there. If you
Oh,
started to
Tufts is
lift,
going
But it-
for it.
What I was feeling, it was like the tires never heated up. It's like the tires weren't quite ever up to that warm sticky point that they get to.
To slip his way up
the
into
times that I
ninth.
spun
He
and
may
won
try and size
in
up another
practice and
overtake,
everything
though,
was when
as
I would
McConnell and
try to
Kramer
back
battle
out of
on
it just a
right
little
in front.
bit.
Looks
But
like
Yeah.
once I got
Yeah.
once I got the go
Oh,
nets
Tufts
to
making
keep
contact
the power
with
down
Kramer.
and
Through his
sail
own
through
choice,
it,
mind
then
you. He may
that
just
that
not have
helped.
the pace to
And
pull
then the
away
other
from this
part
pack,
that
and
I
they're
really meant to
lapping
get back to
around
practice
the
on,
pack
if you
quicker
watch the
than
fast
them.
guys like
Looking,
Trenton,
though,
Oh,
Kramer
no.
is
trying to get moved
very
up.
well planned curb
Gonzaga
hopping.
coming into the
You
pit.
know,
Yep.
Look at
Yeah.
Tufts, though, on the
I was
inside
surprised how
line.
well the
Set it
car
up a little-
keeps the curbs.
Not close enough to
Yeah,
get
Yeah.
the
had
move
it
done
set
on
up a little
McConnell.
softer so you
Kramer not
could hit
close
the
enough to get the
curbs.
move done
Mhm.
on him. Tufts
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah,
do what
on my
Gonzaga
quali
did. A
lap,
few
we're
laps
looking
ago.
at it
Will
after
it
the
work
race.
out for him, though?
I was
I don't
actually
think it
off,
will.
completely
Side by
off the
side,
track
still
into the
heading off
first
through turn
chicane
number 2.
at the first
The
apex
downhill
on my quali
corner,
lap.
and it looks like
Yeah.
Tufts
That's
is
that's how
going
much
to get
curb I
that
was able
move
to take.
done,
Yeah,
clearing
it's
McConnell.
it really was.
It's
I
now
think the
he
key
and
to
McConnell battling,
Mhm.
but Tufts
certain
involved in this
Oh,
as
my.
well.
speed was
He was
sort of
trying to
required.
pull away, but it was mega
Oh,
side
Yeah,
speaking
there's
of the
coming around
the
turn
tail half,
number
that was a
16,
great
slowing
camera
at the
shot
wheel
right there.
to keep that car
Great job,
going in a
Zippy.
straight
Oh,
line.
honestly, the
But
track
Tufts
cams for
will be able
this,
to
I
hold
had
on to that
the
spot for
the
the
static
finish
cams
side.
were
The
part of
victors
it on this
in all
track.
three of
The
their
ring for
places.
the SRFs
Rookie
was
having
just
a
terrible
moment. He
cams,
swatched
but
out on
I
the lead in
loved
the
the
whole
cameras.
Yes.
I'm still going to
Yeah.
claim credit for hitting the button, though. So thank you, Jason.
It
Yeah.
totally missed that one corner at the ring. The cars would go in and
Oh.
then they'd magically appear.
Like, I'm there
Mhm.
trying to go through the free TV cameras, and they
There it is.
sucked.
There's a curb hop.
Mhm. Yeah, Maurizio, I think he underfueled by a lap.
Whoa,
I guess a lot of people
Yeah.
underfueled by a lap. And they eventually
I
took the white
saw-
flag like 2 seconds before it clicked over.
There was an
There
extra
are
lap.
Adrian
top
Gall.
lots
lap.
of Thompson trophies to hand out.
Looking at that fight, though,
So,
between McConnell
Stevie, you
and
got the
Tufts
win
and
in
Kramer,
Masters.
looks like
So
that's
what
the
happened to our
key
regular
for the
two
moment.
Masters
That-
aliens? I didn't see.
York ran out of gas.
Yes.
Yeah, York,
Yeah,
York
yeah.
Thompson
He likes to do.
trophy. And
Yeah, and he's done it several
Antonio-
times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Antonio
Antonio
did what?
got taken out when Soren spun in front of him.
Okay.
Antonio-
Congratulations on that, Stevie.
But I mean, Stevie was actually super quick in this race.
He does that sometimes.
Side by side,
Yeah.
heading down into the turn 10 chicane for
It's
the
a great
final
battle.
Now, why was that, Stevie? Is it
Great
just the
battle.
track, or did you do some homework this week? Did you do some extra homework?
Whoa.
No.
Fantastic exit.
No,
it's
just
and
some
Oh my
tracks
God.
I just click with, and this is one of them that I like. And
Inside line. He needs to get this done and
That race, that was a great race.
attack it and drive it a little harder.
Michael was running the tall gearing, so he was able to get some over speed.
Oh,
Great.
Yep, over under.
Absolute
Oh.
perfectly done by both of them.
Yep.
Less than a tenth of a second.
Great driving
Wow.
both of them. And great finish, Trent. Let's go, man.
Holy
Michael is very, very polite. A couple weeks ago, he and I had, well, it was at Oscar Slavin, and he and I were going back and forth, and then at
Mhm.
the end of the race, he had 0x, and it just
You can go ahead and pause it there, Zippy.
you know,
Cool,
he's
I can try.
really, really.
You can.
There. You want me to go back a bit?
No, it's fine. Right there.
Okay.
Just on the results.
Ah.
But yeah,
Yeah, results.
Maurizio dominated most of the race. But yeah, I think he underfueled a little bit. So he had to fuel save to the end. So James was able to catch and pass. Julian, solid race, even though I tried to kill him on lap 1. Great job, Julian.
Yeah.
Story again. Brendan, I think I forget how many spots he was up, but he started way further back than 4th. So great job, Trent, and another solid drive from Michael.
It was definitely that
And
was
let's go, Stevie.
honestly the most fun race I've covered, like with the weekend wars. I say that next week, I'm sure there will be the best race I've covered. It just keeps getting better and better. But that for
Mhm.
me
Yeah, no,
was that's why I enjoy doing this. That was the kind of action that
Mhm.
just makes me so excited, so buzzing. And then you guys give me another race after. It's great.
Right.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
you can't
Stevie was
miss
able
out
to get
with
the
this.
Masters win, and then
That-
Bill Walker was able to get the S2 win.
Not to
It
roast.
wasn't without total drama. I hit the inside wall down that first chicane coming out
Yes.
coming to the white. I spun,
Oh
but I had
no,
enough of a
Oh, man.
gap that
Stevie,
I
no.
maintained. Yep. So it wasn't totally clean, but it was clean enough.
Doesn't matter.
I
Doesn't
can't
matter.
remember if I showed the crash or not, but if the check cleared, I can make sure they don't happen in the future.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
keep that in mind.
Jason,
I
that's
didn't know
double
about
for
it,
you.
so I don't think it was in the. I don't think it was in the broadcast.
No, the broadcast didn't make it.
There
Well,
you
I mean,
go.
you did a great job at Cadwell because you didn't show any of my crashes there, and I crashed a bunch.
Well,
So,
Cadwell, a lot of people crashed. And I didn't want to just,
Yeah.
highlight, okay, guys,
Mm.
this is you getting it wrong, because I would have had like a 45-minute blooper reel. It would have felt a little bit harsh.
But that's how we'll all
But-
remember
Alright.
Cadwell.
Yep. All right, so on to the Spec Racer
Not
Fords.
chicane. He's got a long
That's
right-hander
good
and a long straight.
Nurburgring.
If I
The
was him,
weirdest
I would probably
configuration of the
hold off
Nurburgring
on
you
that
can think of.
start.
Yeah, it's
Take
really
it
weird.
away.
Yeah.
Very
I,
strange.
I didn't dislike it though. It was.
I was surprised
it
the
was very
second
interesting.
turn wasn't just a total choke point, like especially in the first
Yeah.
lap.
Nobody
I'm
span
amazed
it up
by
there.
that.
Nobody span it there. Like in the
Nobody did,
officials,
yeah.
I've definitely seen somebody spin it at the officials turn one.
But see,
No.
turn one, when
no.
you go wide in one, it totally pinches you down to perk it two, and I thought two would just be a perk and lock, but it didn't. Look at this, we flowed through.
It was
Yeah,
incredible.
There was an incident. It just it wasn't on broadcast. It wasn't that
You're
big, though.
welcome.
It took out like. Oh yeah, I think Paul was the most
Oh,
affected.
Oh,
by it.
contact.
Cookie Monster, Phil Berry gets hit.
What a save!
Yes,
What a
yes.
save from Phil. I have
And
no
then look at
idea.
who's this, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh coming up.
The fearless.
Mr. Bravery.
Fearless.
Awesome
Josh.
save.
I can't fault him for that. Like, he's definitely more like, oh, look, they got it wrong. Yoink. Opportunist move. I don't blame him there.
Yep, there's no paint lost in that one.
Jason Green and
Oh
Kane
my.
Lasky have made their way around
Then Evandro got to slow down.
Is falling down the order.
Which
These
kind of
things are
stacked us up a
spicing
little bit.
Definitely a place I would not want to go too wide.
And yeah,
three
no-
wide
nobody
would be
ever spins at
one.
turn two.
Certainly very, very hard to get a good judge
Here comes
on
Trent.
that
Is
corner.
amazing.
And I don't find these cabs. Oh,
Porsche
great
960.
turnaround. Oh, there.
Whoa. Was that curb?
Yep.
Who spun at
No.
turn two?
No, I ran wide. I ran wide into Bobby,
Send it.
and I.
Oh, I remember. This is the incident I was on about with Maya.
Oh, I saw that coming.
Yeah, we talked about this after the race, and Simon just kind of ended up there. He wasn't really trying to make it three wide. It's
He's
just
got a
that's
1.8
kind of how
second
it
gap
ended
to
up.
Wan Shilin, who
And
is
yeah, that's
playing
always going to
at the
happen
back
like
of the
that.
shot.
Yep.
Kane
Low
Lasky
risk,
high
high
reward.
reward.
I mean, I get why he made the move. I don't know if I would have gone for it. Probably, and I probably would have had the same outcome, but I can't fault him for trying.
Under pressure from Daniel Wood and Evandro Dantas before you get down.
This
to
commentator
Roval.
sounds
Sometimes
gorgeous.
you just
And love.
you're making a
As I see
move, and
Adam
it's just the
Thompson telling me
momentum
that I
pushes
am
there.
looking
You don't
very
really,
sexy.
like he said, he didn't intend to.
Oh.
Adam
Oh.
showing his love
That was
to
tense.
the producer in the
These
chat,
guys had a
looking
battle.
to make the
Part of the
inside
Oh,
New
yeah.
Jersey
Russell,
Turnpike
get
pair
that
there.
position back
Mhm.
right where he
They were
is.
at it most of the
Yanchi
race.
is
Those guys were
absolutely
going at it.
fine.
Yep,
And
Scott
related,
finally
Marco
didn't get
Panero
taken out
is
onto
now
to
coming out of
lap
pit
one,
lane. He's
so
been in the pit
let's
lane,
go.
and now he's coming out.
Improvement.
Yanchi
Oh.
leads
Here
the
he comes
two
out of
right
the
into
pit stop.
turn one,
Yep.
but he's going to be very close. He's
Yeah,
not gonna
Yanchi
be
tried
able
the
to get the
undercut,
move done
which is
on the strategy alone, but he looks
a
much
different
closer
strategy
than
from
he
him.
was whenever
Because
he
he's
came
so
into
good
the
on
pit
fuel,
lane.
and he
Marco
still was
Panero.
super quick in the pit
Yes,
stops. He was like a
looks
second
deadly
quicker.
battle, 'cause they're gonna be taking the
I love
white
his
flag this
sportsmanship.
time.
Like as a
Barney,
driver, he
you
is
see
like the
Barney
epitome
get
of his
it in the air.
sportsmanship.
They come
Yep.
across
Yeah,
the
yeah.
start finish straight. With just
And
a
he goes
half
real
a
fast,
minute
too.
left in the race,
Yeah.
Yanchi Lin looking to get the move done early in this lap. Going to be on the outside, not going to have the preferred
Thanks,
line.
Marco.
Oh, he's on the
Run deep.
inside.
We're on the
Lock off
outside.
from
He's got
Panero.
prime
Now gonna
position
give-
That's
for
great.
turn
We're
3.
going to have a drag race down to turn 3. And it
It'll
looks
be
like
interesting to
Yanchi
see
Lin
what
is
you
gonna
guys
have
think of
preferred
the
line
what's
and
coming
get the
next,
move
because
done
I'm
before they
still
can
on the
get
fence
braking
about
zone.
it.
New leader number 30, Yanchi Lin, here on the white flag lap.
I have to
Looks
ask the
like
chat
Yanchi
as well.
Lin
What
very
does the
comfortable
chat think
running
about
inside,
what's
doesn't
happening
feel like
next?
He's under
Yeah.
pressure enough. Not going to try to break that slipstream. Going somewhat defensive. And then he's going to blend back over to the
Oh,
right.
So
what a
far back.
send!
Comes Marco Panero with an absolute send up the inside. A
Oh.
little bit of bumping, but he gets the move
That was a
done.
send.
Yanchi Lin comes off.
I'm surprised
and
Yanchi didn't
should have been defending
Break a
there
little more
possibly,
to go
but
in
Marco
clear.
Panero
You know,
with
Oh,
an
he's running way
absolute
but
wide.
it's a surprise.
I mean,
Awesome.
it was
He's moved.
he was
He's
already
got him
committed to
wide,
the
and then we're
corner.
gonna have a drag race.
Yeah.
Yanchi Lin not going to be close enough.
So possibly need to keep an
Yeah.
eye on this pair.
Yeah,
after the
Trent
race
says he's
in
alongside
pit
by
lane.
the
There might be
apex.
some
So.
words exchanged.
Oh, here we go.
But
Here
yeah,
we go.
I'm kind of with you. I think if I was Yonksi, I would have
Bobby West
kind of
here
backed out,
at
let
the
him go,
end
and
to
then
get
come
third
back on it.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Slow
I
and
don't.
fast
Bobby
out
West, so a good battle
Yeah,
there.
but it was
Andrew
just
Love
such a late
gets the
send. He
way
was
around.
so far
Andrew at
back
the
that
Vinton. Andrew
Yanchi didn't
Favini
have any
comes
time to react to
back.
that.
He's going to have the inside
That was Andrew.
for the final corner.
Yep.
Andrea Favini should
Had a good
get
battle with
this
Andrea
move
here.
settled here before they even get to the apex, and to see who gets the better run. Andrew Love not going to be close
And I
enough
don't
to
really
get the
know
trailer
if Andrew
back
was
on Favini.
frustrated
Favini
or
going to
celebrating
finish
or,
fifth place,
but
up
yeah, Andrew had a
19
great race
spots for Brady
regardless.
I could add
Yeah.
subtitles and just put stars.
Yeah.
So what was the
So
finish in
yeah,
S2 then? Where was Andrew in S2? Was he second or first? Second?
That was definitely a
uh,
whack.
yeah, but well, yeah, we'll see in a sec. I mean, so my thoughts on this is the first part of the move is fine because he makes the apex. He's not locked up. He's under control. But the second apex, he doesn't leave enough space for Yanchi.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he
So
bumped him out of the way on the first apex.
He
Right.
was
Lined
he
up.
was
So we
so
knew he wasn't going to
committed.
be
I
there
don't.
for the second apex.
yeah,
Yeah, he was so committed. I don't think he could have left room. It's just the
Right.
momentum was gonna take him there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
So what's the
Oh,
SCCA
green.
saying? The pass is the responsibility of the pass is of the passer.
Yeah, Daniel
is the
would-
passee.
the wall by Jason
So
Green.
I would say it would fail that
Yeah.
test.
Oh,
Now
Phil
here's
Barry.
our wonderful demo derby.
yep, sent
Okay.
Dan over the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Marco wins 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, not too impressed with the pass on the last lap, but still, they both survived. Another solid drive from Bobby in P4. Evandro, his first race back in a while, gets P6. And Josh Wilkie gets S2 win.
Yeah.
And Andrew wins second, and then oh yeah, I forgot about that. Kurt
Nunez with Masters win.
got the Masters win.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
He was hyped about that.
Oh, it's the first time I had him in the booth. It was great. Very happy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, yeah. As soon as he said it over Discord while we were lining up for the demo derby, and he was like, "Oh, I won the Masters." Like, "Oh, you got to go over to the Discord right now, Kurt. It's this Discord, this channel. Go."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great.
I don't know how much more you need of this, Jason.
Yeah, the important part got in. I
Okay.
just wanted to include me sending Dan unintentionally over the wall.
I don't know if you put it in this bit. Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
it was at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Not
Yeah.
chicane. He's got a lot.
Boom.
So
Back on you guys. And
Yep.
me. Sorry.
Another brick in the wall.
Oh yeah, and
Ha
shout out / commiserations to Trent in the SRF race. Him and I were battling on the last lap for 5th, and he vanished. iRacing decided to disconnect him out of turn 2, as we were pretty much side by side. So super unlucky because he drove an incredible race. Would have had top top 5/6 in both of the races on Sunday. So super solid effort from him.
Yeah, definitely a very good drive. I really enjoyed the battling. I think the SRFs was definitely a lot more tame in comparison. But out of the two, I would have expected that one actually to probably be a bit lively. I was waiting for the parking lot in turns 1 and 2, and you guys didn't
Yeah.
deliver, and it was a pleasant relief.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting
Yeah.
to see what happens like coming up next. So I should get the schedule up actually.
So
Oh,
where-
you-
Yeah,
oh, you
I
guys
definitely
are.
learned.
Where
I learned.
Surf's going.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
There's the results from last week.
Is
So,
it Stefan or Steven?
yes.
Anybody know?
Think
I'd
it's
say
Stefan.
I
Stefan.
think.
Stefan?
I'd say Stefan.
Yeah.
The pro commentator will
Good,
say
good show
Stefan.
for him
Yep.
and Guido.
Yeah, he
And,
started on pole at Oschersleben. Had the incident in turn 1, so another good start and or another good qualifying and a great finish.
Oh,
let's go,
and
Brian.
Brian, yeah, look at
Ah,
that.
Atta
How did we
boy.
miss
Brian.
that?
Yeah,
Bum,
Yeah,
bum,
Brian
let's
came
go.
back.
yep.
Back
That's great.
home out of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Andrew pull up for the silver and Matthias for the bronze. So
Matthias.
then we go to the Roval and the Formula Fords. We've got James Berry, Maurizio
Let's
in
go.
that battle. Julian was solid, as you said. Bill Walker in Spec 2, Dana and Paul Jackson, and some old guy in Master Ticket.
Let's go, Stevie.
And-
Well
Congrats
done.
again, man.
And only because there was other issues. Jorg running out of gas, Antonio getting wrecked out. So and Jim starting in the back and had his issues.
Well,
so
and I spun 3 times.
yeah, well, so yeah, I think I won by default. So
It's
It's,
legit,
win-win.
It's a
Stevie.
win. It's a win.
Yeah, it's legit.
and it's legit.
It's on the
in
paper.
books
There it
as-
is.
as a win. Yep. So Marco Yonksi, Kane Lasky with the bronze, Josh Wilkie, and keep that in mind. We'll see something with the points here in just a minute. Andrew pulled out the silver. Caleb Pocock
Go,
is back
Andrew.
after
Look at
a
Andrew.
while.
Two
and-
silver.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew had a great race at the Nurburgring. I was super impressed with his pace there.
Kurt, Tom, and Adam rounding out the Masters. So
Let's go, Kurt.
if I can pull up the championship points, they go.
So
All
once
right.
again, just a reminder, since I was out of town, I was dependent on getting a replay from Andrew to create the points because our crazy system, luckily you
Yeah.
can take the replay and export the replay and get the JSON file from that to plug into Extreme. So luckily, with the support of friends in high places, I could actually get the points caught up even though I was out of town.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, no, Stevie, you mean
Yeah,
going to go over
Yeah,
this
he's
Extreme at
he's
some
becoming
time?
it's
It's something I
becoming
think
an extreme expert.
but we need to think about it in the future though, because without that, the points would be a mess. So I think we might need to look into getting a full-time plan for backups for that kind of stuff.
It sounds like
And-
Michelle's just been volunteered to learn extreme scoring. That's what I just
Right.
heard. Sorry, Michelle.
But I'm saying, but not just the V's. We need to have backups for all 3. Just because without that, your host won the points. Speaking of points,
Speaking
Yep.
of points, here we
Let's,
are after round 6, spec
let's stretch
1.
stretch out a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably because
50
Thor keeps
points.
winning.
and Guido's catching you. He's chomping out your.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
tightening up right there.
I mean, Guido is probably one of the smartest racers I've ever driven with. He is just. I'm probably jinxing the heck out of him right now, but and it
Now, his
completely
cat will do
unintentional. But
Completely
no, like
unintentional.
he is pretty much every race I run with him. He always knows exactly when to attack and when to not attack. And he always ends up in front of me. It seems like in these races. So well done so far, Guido.
He's catching. Gary, I don't think was there this past week, and this tightened up a little bit.
Yep.
Matthias and Dave
Matthias.
Fitzgerald now. It's coming. Matthias.
Yep.
And Dave Fitzgerald coming up. So that spec 2 is tightening up with the V's. Formula Fords, we've got a pretty tight battle going on here. James
all
and
3
Kevin
pretty tight.
and Michael McConnell. Yeah, they're all within striking distance. Spec 2, look at the total points. For Josh
Attaboy.
Wilson.
He's thinking up the
Spec 1.
joint. He's thinking it up.
Attaboy.
Josh is overall points leader as a Spec 2 driver. I don't know if we've ever
Sandbagger.
had that, so.
It sounds to me, yeah, like we've got a fox in the hen house.
Yeah. He's going to be moving up next season. I have a strong feeling. He's dominating S2, and Bill's got a pretty good lead on Dana for the silver. Masters, you got Jorg is out front, Brad and Jim hanging in there.
Let's go, Jim.
Attendance, man, attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Attendance
that's-
matters.
Well,
Yep.
and that's what this doesn't show. It doesn't show how many races that each driver's had,
And
it
we'll need
was
that
at
towards the end of the
4
season.
and
You get
yeah,
down towards the end of the
it-
season. That'll
it'll
create.
start evening out. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the spec 1 and the spec racers, 6 for 6.
Yep.
Marco's just he's a machine, and he was that way last time he raced with us for several seasons. So he doesn't change.
They're trolling the
Jason's
chat.
there doing the best he can, and
I'm surprised I'm
Bobby's.
in front of Bobby, to be honest. I feel like Bobby has finished in front of me.
I don't think he's
every
been
single race.
there every week.
Oh, that's right.
I don't
I
he's
think
been
he's missed a race. Yeah, that's true.
He's
Yeah.
had some good
Uh-oh.
results though.
there.
I mean,
Joshua,
Yeah, I think he's finished in front of me every single race. So
I see a
Josh
fox in the
Woods.
surf hen house too here.
Yeah, he's kind of dominating
Man.
both of them. So Paulo and Paul Jackson are within striking distance.
So
Masters.
is
Huh?
Joshua crashing out in every official he can get to just keep his IR down, or what?
I haven't looked at his IR lately, but yeah, typically we haven't promoted him mid-season, so we'll let him get his glory, and then he's going to have a battle next season.
You know,
Tom
long
and
term, you know,
Brad and Adam. Huh?
since we've created this community, so few of us, we do so much fewer officials that our IRs
Yeah.
are much less valid than they could be. You know,
That's a
last
good point,
season,
yep.
at the end of the season, iRacing sent me, and I had done 8 officials in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I would argue that mine is too high. It's been sports cars currently anyway, because I only run the SRF. It's like it's like 6,400 or something, and that's not really applicable to any other car.
That's fair. Like I was quicker than you in
so,
Petit Le Mans. I mean, you know, it's definitely
Pretty much.
inflated.
Ooh.
Oh, I like where this is going,
Ooh.
Stevie.
Who got
Adam
this? Who
won't,
got it?
but I like it.
Is there enough
York get it?
space?
York
Is there
definitely.
enough
York,
space on the
Yeah, for
only
this
on it?
week.
I'm pretty sure there was
No,
like
there
5 or
were-
6
there were
other
a few.
people.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were
gonna
a
have to
few
make
this week.
hand out a bunch of
We'll have
those.
to start getting the list. Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna need a bigger trophy, Stevie.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to put a list on the side of, you know, the winners.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've been arguing this forever. Stevie's heard me say this 100 times. I'm
Here
not
it
a fan
comes.
of ups because there's 2 gambling factors. You have to gamble on this pit speed entry, and that you're gambling on a 40-second whack in the head, and then the other side is that you're gambling on the amount of gas you take. And so there's just 2 gambling things, and does it really add to the racing? You know, overall.
I mean,
The
I
races
don't
never get better because of a pit stop.
I don't gamble on either of those things. So it sounds like you're doing something wrong, Jim.
Just look at the points. The points say it all.
I think Jason's just saying that he hasn't won the Thompson Award yet.
I mean, I definitely won it last season. At Nords, I ran out of gas, but yeah, you know, other than that,
What I get a kick out of, and I would love to figure out why. Every once in a while, one track, like a bunch of people run out. And it's like
Yep.
that's so weird. It was where was it
Well,
last year?
We
Last
get an
year,
extra.
it was Nords.
yeah.
Nords.
We
Like,
get an
why
extra
is
lap
that?
in.
Oh yeah, if some rocket is up front and messes up the lap count. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or even at the
extra lap.
Charlotte Roval, in the Ford races last weekend, we had 5 or 6 run out because it was right on the edge. It was literally like 2 seconds. If the leaders were 2 seconds slower, it would have been a lap shorter. So,
Yep.
Yeah. This
All
usually
right.
happens.
Time to transition. I can't say it. I've had too many beers today. Transition
Atta boy.
from,
He didn't have a beer.
reviews.
Somebody gets the some
Oh,
water.
I said I had them earlier.
Would you like some
I don't
coffee,
have 'em
Stevie?
now. Yeah. This is our guest segment, and as you can see, Jim's been here, and glad to have you sharing in with these reviews, Jim. But I've asked every one of our guests so far, taking a page out of Brian Belinsky's playbook. What got you into sim racing? What attracted you? What got you started with this crazy hobby that we have?
Well, I was first on the hill spectating at Lime Rock as an infant, and and some of you have seen the picture of me and my mom at Lime Rock when I was about 2, wearing matching clothes, and so that was for life. I've been racing, but do you know what? I think as a child, racing, there's a certain amount of glamour there. The other part was my dad was racing, and I was allowed to roam free. And so there I am as a wee lad with the matching clothes, and as they say in Sound of Music, what happened to the curtains?
You read my mind. I was literally going to say I felt sure I'd see that in the Sound of Music.
Right. So
Yeah.
The
that's
hills
Lime
are
Rock back then. And
alive.
you notice there's trees in
that-
the pits at Lime Rock, and there
Yeah.
was shade in the pits back then, and there are
Yeah.
no trees in the pits of Lime Rock anymore at all. But anyway, the other part, I think, so there was the glamour of that, and then there was the freedom of being able to roam free while my dad was racing. So I used to roam every inch of Lime Rock, And as a 6, 7, 8-year-old, I would be explaining the racing to adults that were there for the first time. And so, when you're a kid, that's a big thing. The other big factor was the Austin Healy that my dad raced.
Ooh,
He also drove on the
nice.
street and commuted to work. And he drove it very rapidly on the street. It was very normal.
Well, hold up.
so-
An Austin Healey is not a fast car. It's British. It probably broke down half the time.
No, right there. There it is.
It's a cool
So
car.
Production. It's Austin Healey 106. Well, it was normal.
Oh, it's the
You could ask,
106. Okay.
we got to get Tam in the chat here. It was normal for any. So we live in a rural area with 2-lane roads. But if there was a straightaway, we would pass 2 or 3 cars and we would hit 100. And that was just a totally normal thing. We'd go to my grandparents' house in Pennsylvania with our Rover 2000 TC, and we'd be cruising at 100, racing with vets across the turnpikes of Pennsylvania. So that was probably an influence also. And then when it comes to sim racing, boy, I sure wish I was born a little bit younger, because it's just perfect for me, because I have no interest in opening the hood of my car. I don't really care what happens under the hood. I care what happens when I push the pedal. And with these race cars, I know what happens when I push the pedal. To me, I would hate the idea of spending the money to own a tow vehicle. I would hate to drive a pickup truck. I know that makes me a total snob, but I drive my little Fiesta ST hot rod, and I want to drive a sports car all the time. I don't want to drive a pickup. I want to own a pickup truck.
I'm
And,
sorry.
so-
Hang on. You're in America and you're saying you won't drive a truck. Now they're going to probably revoke
No.
your citizenship for
No.
such a comment.
I'm with
Okay.
Jim on this.
Okay,
Really?
I grew up.
Pickup.
I'm British.
Okay.
I drive a pickup truck.
Okay,
My accent changes
never
though.
had. I grew up with no American cars in the family.
I see
We
that
drove
you got
foreign
British.
cars
Why
my
would you
whole
do
life.
that? From
My
a
whole
British
life,
guy,
that's
why
all
would
we
you
had.
do that?
Yes. And but then sim racing came along, and Andrew and I first started on PCs. Andrew Love and I started back with the. Does anybody know the Papyrus Soda, the off-road truck racing game? Fantastic
Yeah.
physics, terrible graphics, and a track
Yeah.
building feature. Andrew had built a copy of Summit Point, so this is before PlayStation 1, way back.
Damn.
I think we did the
Well,
IndyCar game.
you and Andrew Love go way back, way back.
95ish, something like that. I think we met.
Yeah.
It's
And,
30 years.
So anyway, so then PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I still have inch packs of notes this thick on all my lap times at Gran Turismo 4 and every chassis tuning I did on every car and every series in Gran Turismo 4. And so, and then iRacing came along, and the technology scared me, and my son finally said, "Quit being stupid," and he threw down a laptop, and I put a wheel on it. And then about 2 weeks later, I got a computer, and then one day they asked me out of the room for something, and he popped in my triple screens. And
Nice.
so I think I'm on my 3rd computer, 3rd wheel, and this is year 8, I think. One thing I cannot remember how I found Weekend Warriors. I assume it's from Surf officials, but I don't remember. I don't remember how I met you, Stevie. I cannot remember. But
It's been a couple of years.
So you know what, Stevie? Do you remember a year or so ago we were looking at some stats, and because I raced all 3, I think I was on the leaderboard of the number of races, Weekend Warrior races.
I think-
Believe it or not, as slow as I
think
am,
so.
I actually am. I'm doing the attrition. The death by 1,000 scratches. I'm going to just come in every race and eventually make some progress. But
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, but look at the world we have. So nowadays a track day is what, $300. A helmet is $1,000. A Hans device is $750. An SCCA entry fee is what, $600, $700, $800. The runoffs were $1,200, $1,500 maybe.
Up there.
Insuring a pickup truck for a tow vehicle is how much, and keeping one of those running and storing your race car and trailer somewhere.
Chauffeur for the pickup truck.
Right. So then here we are. We do 3 or 4 races a week at runoffs quality level fields. I'll argue better than runoffs quality driver talent in some of these classes. I mean, these people are stupid fast. I mean, do you know what it's like as a master? Masters used to be halfway friendly. All the masters are fast now. I mean, anyway, And but to appreciate what it is, how many hours we spend at this? Can you name any? So I always tell people it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle, right? So we spend every Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday all day. As my wife says, I played church piano for 26 years, and she says, you spend more time racing than you ever did. It's playing church, even 3 services a week. I said, really? But anyway, and be thankful for our friends and families that support us in this total insanity. And
Yeah.
and
Speaking of,
Uh-oh.
yeah, the number one supporter. To all the rest of you who do not have a TAM to support you,
Oh.
be very
Let's go,
jealous.
Tam.
This is hang
This is
on.
me and Tam.
This is
This is
Tamara
June.
then, who I keep seeing in the broadcast chat.
Tamara, right? Tamara.
Sorry.
So this is when she visited this June. Me and my fat belly and her charming, wonderful face. So she and we still communicate by emails, but now and we weren't really in touch much until she started following the racing 4 or 5 years ago. And now between that and then the artwork I do, we talk every day now. And
that's awesome.
Do you still email?
Yes.
Remind
everybody where she's at, Jim.
Oh, she's in Buenos Aires, and I'm in Northern Virginia, so we're a long ways away from each other.
Okay, I failed geography. What kind of distance are we talking here? Because
South America.
Hemisphere.
Oh damn!
Wow.
Zippy, her toilet spins the wrong direction.
I never noticed which way mine spins, but I gotta say, Jim, please, can I interest you to any of the above? Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, Snapchat. I mean, saying that, like, a lot of beauty is lost in that,
now,
but email, you have to craft the words, I guess.
However, Tam is so you saw the earlier picture of me and my mom.
I was gonna say, if that's Tamara, you aged her pretty quickly.
This is my mom. This is Summit Point. And it was about 2-3 years ago. She was actually going to a camp to do charity work that was about 5 miles from Summit Point. So we stopped in, and I said, "Guys, can I just give my mom a tour of the place?" And so that's 63 years difference between those two pictures.
Oh.
As you see, I got taller. So
Yeah.
But anyway, no, Zippy. What I want to point out, Tam's emails are a thing of art. And they are the best bargain in the world. Okay, if you send Tam one picture, you get back a paragraph. If you send her back a sentence, you get 3 paragraphs. If you send her back a page, you get, a piece. So anyway, and as Stevie knows, and some of you know from Facebook, I spend a lot of time in the art world, and that is Tam's profession. She is an artist, and so we bond pretty well on the challenges of being creative in art. But anyway, so thanks to our family, and that's my dad with his Austin Healey. You notice the size of the steering wheel?
Yeah, massive. No power steering.
Bracing on the roll bar.
Yeah.
So he would put we put the windshield back on with 4 bolts and the fiberglass hardtop, and he would drive it back and forth to work on the used. We would get takeoff Goodyear Blue Streaks from other teams, and they had a little bit of tread, and he would drive the Goodyear racing tires back and forth to work at IBM every day. And so the good old days of racing when you drove to the racetrack. But
oh, look at that.
Oh, hold it. How'd that get in here? That's my James Bond impression. That's Molly. That's my main supporter. We went to a wedding last week, and I did my James Bond impression. And so it was fun. First time I think first time I had a tux on since we got married many years ago.
Looking pretty dapper there, Jim.
Yep. Anyway, now that I'm an old guy, but so the sim racing, like I said, it has these advantages, but then it takes its toll. As I read somewhere years ago, a pro sim racer says, the problem with sim racing is that since you have unlimited practice time, since you're not limited on track time, that means all your opponents are out there doing those hours. So you don't have a choice. And so to me, I have a question for you guys. You know the definition of insanity, to do something over and over.
Yeah, expect a different result.
Same result.
Right. Yeah. So do you, do you fall into a practice rut? Because we have to prepare 2, 3, or 4 tracks each week. How do you make that driving progress that we all want, while you're, chipping away at and getting ready for a track with 3 or 4 different cars. Anybody got any ideas? I've just
That I
jumped
can
into
answer.
Garage 61, and there's all those magical lines in Garage 61,
Yeah.
but how to
Yeah.
make your line match that other guy's line? It's not naturally
JG is
intuitive.
probably the best one for that because
Yeah. But do
he
you guys
prepares
find
and
that
does so
that
much.
that your weekly schedule, do you change it up? Do you try different things, or is there a set pattern that you just works, or what do you think? What's the
Yeah, I mean, I
key to
mostly
making
have a
progress?
set pattern. To
And how
where
on earth do people get ready for the strength of field race on Monday night?
low speed,
But
low
I'm saying,
speed.
but that means
Um,
that Sunday you're ready
mhm.
for that week's track and you're ready for the next week's track.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so full speed's after. So, but yeah, especially if it's a new track that I haven't driven, then I'm
Right?
definitely not as prepared as I usually want to be for the Monday race. Those are
And
the weeks when I struggle.
a
Nobody.
But
certain German is going to show up prepared.
yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't need to prepare. Um, he doesn't need to practice. He can. Well, I guess on the same vein, Yanshi showed up to the strength of field race last night.
Yes.
His first lap was his quali lap, where he got pole and was I think 3 tenths faster than me, and I had been practicing. It made me like 4 hours of prep for that race. So and I think he did 15 minutes of practice in the one full lap in
Stevie and
quali.
Zippy,
So
did you just hear him admit to
um,
4 hours of prep for a race? You guys hear that?
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't have the attention span. Actually, Trenton's bringing up a very valid point in the chat. He
Yes, Trenton.
says, in my opinion, this is Trenton's opinion, practicing solo leads to insanity as you can only find one line. A track has so much more to offer than solo practice, doesn't provide real praise. More fun to run with others.
Oh,
That
he's
I
quoting
100% agree
Schwartz.
with.
That's a Frank Schwartz quote.
mhm.
He's been hanging around with Frank too long. He's rubbing off on him. That was Frank's whole point with his interview, and it was a very interesting point. I had never really heard that discussed. Yeah, I don't know. I agree that that's being passed efficiently and passing efficiently is what they're referring to. Um, I don't know how often he was talking about doing that almost every lap, being off the line, and
Yep.
I don't. We're not quite in that. But yeah, no, it's an interesting point. Very interesting point.
Yeah, that was one of the quotes from him, or the ideas from him that really stuck with me is when he was talking about, yeah, I don't know what the racing line is because I'm never on the racing line
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
always battling. So that's something that I try to work into my practice as well. I'll
Well,
practice
Friday
the
night we
optimal
definitely did
line.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So
yeah, Friday
so
night.
things like faux speed or the Friday night draft parties for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
When you actually practice the battling with others or um, even if I'm just by myself, I'll shadow box with an imaginary opponent.
right, right.
Pretend I'm diving up the inside, pretend I'm defending on the outside, that kind
Definitely
of
like
thing.
for critical
Yeah.
breaking points, like
Yep.
on the inside line, and you need to know that other breaking point.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I got time, I'll practice like going inside to holding the inside line, defending, and
Yep.
figuring
right,
out what my
yeah,
breaking point, like you said, and go wide and then around the outside, and at least be familiar with those lines. I may not practice them a whole lot,
yeah.
but the definite passing zones and the braking zones, I'll try to at least make a couple of passes and
You
be
know, one
familiar
thing,
with it.
another part of that is when you're on an alternate line, that other car often blocks your sight of your braking marker.
I'm
Yep.
going to say,
Exactly. Yeah.
You need an alternate, braking
Yeah,
marker and stuff.
Mhm.
yeah.
So, stuff you got to
And
develop.
and also sometimes I'll find when I practice the alternate lines and I go back to the main racing line, I've actually gotten faster because I have a better feel for where the grip is in the corner or how much more speed actually I can take than I thought I could.
Yeah.
So even just not practicing the optimal racing line will make me faster at the optimal racing line. So um,
Good point.
yeah, for me it's all about feel. So half the time just driving the track to where I don't have to think when I'm driving. That's
Okay, so
my major downfall. Um, so if I can get the feel for the track, then you know, then
so
I'll get faster.
give me your tire life profiles of the different vehicles. Okay, so that's another piece of this to me. Like the
Mhm.
Ford, you have to learn lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, and then what do you think? Is lap 5 a plateau, and then do you think Fords fall off towards the end or not?
No, the Formula Fords, no, they just keep getting faster. Although I did notice at Charlotte, I was over here too much. So like in turn 2, I almost spun a couple of times. And I almost drifted into the wall. But yeah, in general, and I'm probably underdriving it, but the Formula Fords just keep getting faster for me. They don't really fall off, as opposed to the SRF, which I'm sure that's where you were going with that. Is pretty
Well, to
much
me,
a
the surf is
one lap wonder.
you got 2 great laps,
Mhm.
and then it's a big plateau that's pretty sketchy. Yeah.
Yep, and then just
and then
falls
it
off.
kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, the SRF forces you to not overdrive. It punishes overdriving a lot, and the tires are very easy to overheat. And then the
takes a while to
V,
get them back.
yeah, the V. I mean
The V weighs 900 pounds, so
yeah,
it covers up a lot of natural born errors that it has
Mhm.
by being 900 pounds. And a little bit overtired, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find I can. I wish I could drive the Surf and the Ford as well as I can drive the V, but I think it's just an easier. Well, I always call people it's the binary car. The gas is either on or off, and you're either on third or fourth.
Yeah.
So
There's no fifth gear in that. I've
less
tried.
variables to learn.
There is another thing as well that I find, and it's getting more and more popular recently. So it used to be setup shops was what it was all about. It's all about having the setup, and you'd get like your VRS, you'd get like your Marconi, whatever. But now that's kind of evolved, and we're now more so onto like driver training. And some will teach you like there's AI driver training tools out there now. I can't say I've tried them. I've heard mixed reviews. That's one way of doing it. And then you got courses like Swello, he'll do a course and stuff like that. And I know Kevin Adrian, for example, I believe he does Swello's courses and stuff. Look at how well he's doing, right? I think he's leading S1 in the 1600s, if I remember rightly. Going off memory here, my
He's up there, yeah.
apologies. My apologies,
Yeah,
Devin.
He's
But a lot of sometimes, I mean, you can watch like the track guide videos, and that's good, but it will teach you for that track. And now, like, it's more and more shifting. Like Advanced Sim Racing doing it as well, but they're more sort of shifting towards teaching you technique. And like, I have a buddy of mine who is infuriatingly fast. Like Spa used to be my best track. That was like where I'm like, I'm gonna punch above my weight class. He shows up, never driven the track, and can beat me in 5 minutes. And a lot of it is down to technique and understanding. And he will like overdrive the stuffing out of the car and then dial it back. And to me, that's insane. But it works for him, right? I mean, he's good. I'll give him that. He's better than me. Most people are. I'm used to that. But that is definitely another different dynamic, like getting like, don't get me wrong, we're all keen, we're all enthusiasts, and we all, I'd say for the most part, understand a racing line. But then all of a sudden you start finding your mind is opened up to, okay, instead of looking like, I'll look for like 150 marker, whichever. Apparently now you should be looking for something like a tree. Like I was thinking about the other day, if I'm at the real racetrack, I'm looking at a tree that is ahead of me for turn 5. Not something on the side, because by the time I've seen it on the side, it's gone. So, it's you start seeing different perspective, and they'll start tracking your eyes and stuff like that. They're going, okay, you're looking in the wrong place. So for me, I think the best way to learn a track and get faster, albeit I'm a little bit of a hypocrite here because I don't actively do it, but I don't really drive that much. Let's be real. I'm too busy shooting my mouth off in the booth. Good example tonight. But thank you, Ron, for the kind of reference there. But like, I think that is probably the best way to go. I mean, you just have that light bulb moment, and it doesn't matter how good you are. Like some of these coaching courses now, they are coaching like professional drivers. Like Swello, he's gone to Dubai to coach for the international like radical championship.
Well, like Mr. Morgan Burkhart, who coaches.
Oh man, he's quick.
Yeah.
Well, like I said a few weeks ago at Summit Point, Mike Kelly lives at Summit Point. He's one of the absolute track masters. He was driving a borrowed car. He was driving it 12 seconds faster than the owner who owned it, I believe, or something like some crazy number. And Morgan Burkhart sat down with a computer with him and found him another 6/10. And
Nice.
I asked Morgan about it, and Morgan goes, "Well, sometimes it's just helpful to have a second set of eyes." And just like, it depends on whose eyes they are, But that's just amazing. So what about the insanity of, I every once in a while think, well, maybe if I could just work on 2 cars instead of 4 cars, I'd be faster. So
that's part of it.
But I
as
want to
well.
race. But I want to race 4 cars.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's definitely true for me because I run a bunch of different cars and a bunch of different types of cars.
Oh, you run that silly
it's,
IndyCar with all that downforce.
Ugh.
I don't know how you do that.
and the F1 car as well. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I just don't know that downforce. That's
no, it's amazing.
That's
I
very
was I was just practicing for Jerez this week in the F1 car. So
do
yeah,
you
it's
sleep, Jason? That's the question. Do you sleep?
yeah, occasionally. With
Once in a while.
not editing videos or practicing or any of that other stuff.
And you
So,
are employed. You actually have a job.
Mhm.
Okay, we're just checking here. Just checking.
Unfortunately,
That's the other thing
just
about
to
the
make the practice
Masters.
more.
That's the other cheating part about the Masters, that some of them don't have jobs. Like,
Yep.
I work fewer hours than you guys do, and I'm working on working.
I got you beat on
fewer
that one for the minute, Jim.
Okay, what? You work none?
Yeah, I lost my job, but that's okay. It was a cheap roast. I'm busy with SMB anyway.
Do we have to do a crowdsource here to
Nah, we're not that bad. This shirt's new. I'm still alright. If I show up not wearing one, we'll reassess and get you guys sunglasses to. I mean, I'm bleached now. Can you imagine with a shirt off?
Speaking of, yeah.
Yeah,
Show your shirt. Pull it up. There you go.
Look at that. Look at that.
Jim, let's see
Mine's
your
brand new.
shirt.
Yeah,
Mine's brand new.
Yeah,
I'm going to show off my
Just ordered.
coasters as
and
well.
I got a new one. So
I wanted to
New-
say,
new
remember,
cult.
folks, it's not a cult. We're just wearing matching shirts.
Close.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
we got 3 different
you get
brands.
it at,
The uniform.
yeah.
Well,
I got
Stevie
a
loved
link to my web store. So
Stevie loved the shot of me, Andrew, and Brad at Summit.
oh yeah, it was
Where-
awesome.
And where Travis Trussell, our runoff's buddy, immediately accused us of making phone calls the night before to wear matching shirts.
Yeah, they all show up at the track with.
We had matching Raycing Sports shirts on by pure coincidence, and
Yeah,
we
just-
posted a
yeah.
picture.
It was
Plus,
awesome.
we were commiserating with Brad. That was
Yeah.
Brad's bad weekend.
hmm
Anyway,
All right,
so where are we
guys.
going? Where are we going next week?
Well,
Fords and Surfs, and these are
I'm
at Summit.
just gonna.
These are
I
Summit.
was just gonna throw up the schedule for that, and there you go.
How's the chat
These
going?
are at
Zip?
Summit.
We got anything good on the chat?
Nobody's roasting you too much yet. I'm actually a little bit disappointed.
Well-
The Straczynskis are in here, and it's been
Okay.
pretty weak so far. They must really like you. It must be because you're into the FVs. Anybody else so far has been pretty much cremated live on air, so you're doing quite well. I'll give you that. Phil Berry's decided to step in, which is nice, and obviously Guido Marzuki, just to get his name wrong and rub him the wrong way in a fun way. He's in the chat as well. We got a few people: Trenton, Tamara.
So- Guido said didn't get too big from all his compliments Jason gave him. Did he? Okay,
Andrew
here we
have a
are.
nice, some nice inputs of saying that you were born young earlier. I was trying to find a time to work that in, but that was fun. Nice one, Tam. Like that one.
Okay,
These
so
at
Formula.
Summit.
Yep.
Yeah, and Formula Fords are going to be at Road America.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
And Surfs at
and
Daytona
the
Moto.
Surfs
Oh
Daytona
yeah,
Moto.
that is an
That
awful
little
layout.
extra
It's
kink and layout. Yeah.
it's awful.
Guys,
Awful.
all Daytona layouts are awful.
I agree. I agree.
It's not a good racetrack.
But the moto is even more awful. It is so
Yes.
bad.
Yes,
Yeah, the different infield layout it's like an ice rink. There's no grip. It's super slow corners, and I'm usually all about slow speed corners. I love them because I'm way better at those in
You are.
comparison.
Yes, yes.
Um,
That's where
so
I lose time on the.
so when I say that I absolutely hate those corners, they are awful. Just
bad.
take that into
Yeah.
consideration.
Mr. Daytona, whoever owns Daytona, think
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Daytona's a beautiful track. I don't know what's the matter with any of you.
Yeah, that's
That's just because
that's whatever they put it in the official. So
See, you're so far away that you think it's special. Let's just like we think Cadwell and
No,
Park
you
are
guys
special.
hate Cadwell. It's literally the track that I grew up an hour from, and I've never seen a
Cadwell's
track.
awesome.
Thank you, Jason. You're the only person other than me who seems to like it.
Hey,
It's a lot of fun.
hey, Zippy,
Yeah.
I don't want to know just to tell you how bad my brain damage is on this racing sport, I've read Autosport for 25 years. Motorsport. What's the vintage one? I still get that one, and then I still
Oh.
get Evo. So I've been reading English magazines for 30 years. So so with Autosport, I used to follow all those local tracks.
Damn.
Yeah, Guido makes a good point. We should run the V's, Cadwell and the V's.
Oh, for sure. We're
I
gonna do
think that was
Cadwell.
already
We're
on
gonna
the
do
plan, but that would be a
we're
lot
gonna
of
do
fun.
Phillips Island in the V's next season. Yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll add some of the drafties.
Oh yeah, and
All right.
Phil was way quicker than me at Daytona Moto. He trounced me last night, so let's go, Phil.
Attaboy, Phil. Cookie Monster Machine. Sorry, Jason.
Left me in the dust.
Yeah, was it cookie dust?
Well, we've got another league that we've got V's
Yep.
available in.
Mm.
So
Yes.
the new Ray Esports Club Racing League that's opened up to all clubs, SCCA, WRL, Challenge Cup, IMSA, whatever, enthusiast, fans, family, kicking off in, a week from tomorrow, the 30th.
And who's sponsoring it?
And let's see. Sim Motion. Darren Ganji stepped up with Sim Motion and is
Fantastic.
sponsoring the whole thing, the whole shooting match. So
Let's go.
awesome. Yeah. And I can't thank Darren enough. He had a couple questions for me. We went back and forth and gave him the info that I had, the history and what we wanted to do. And so he's said, yeah, we're in, we're all in. So
So what kind of
awesome.
tracks are on the schedule? We all
Well,
club racing tracks?
No. Let me I'll share the screen with you. And
what kind of races are we
there
gonna
we
do? Are we gonna not have pit stops maybe?
some are, some aren't. So
It's a confusing
group one-
schedule, Jim.
yeah, it's a little, once you understand it though, it's pretty simple.
Homestead.
Each
all
round
right.
is going to take
Homestead's great.
three weeks. There's 3 different groups. So group 1 is Miatas, and that's both the what is it? Global
TCR?
No,
Yep.
it's the Global Miata, and then there is also the Legacy Miata as well. There you go,
Yeah.
Stevie.
Oh, it's
Those are
both
2.
Miatas.
It's going to be both in the Miatas. Miata Madness is going to be a 30-minute race, and then Group 1B race, the TCRs, the IMSA kind of stuff. That's going to be 40-minute races with all the TCRs. Group 2, the GT4s, those are going to be 70 minutes with a fuel stop and an optional driver change. So that's kind of geared towards the WRL boys, but adds a little different flavor. And we're going to Sebring for that one for the first round.
Okay, how are you
And
going to
then
do
group-
points with the driver's change, Stevie?
Probably team. I know I've got to work that out yet. I don't know. I'm working on extreme right now. So
yeah,
we'll see. Well, each car can have multiple drivers, primary and alternate. So I gotta work it out. And then the Group 3s, the Formula Vs for 30 minutes and the SRS for 30 minutes. First round be at Homestead, and that's going to be the one with the oval section. So then we'll go back to round 2 with
the other one,
Group
Stevie.
1.
Which oval? Which end oval? You know,
the
south.
A layout.
Is
The
it
A layout
that
is
has
so
the
much
south?
better.
Yeah.
No,
That's the one that doesn't touch either
I
oval.
know, and that's a great track. And the
Yeah.
the one that
That's
uses
the
the
one that
oval is awful.
the SCCA guys tell me the transition is horrible coming on to
It's
the oval.
really fun. It's amazingly fun.
Okay.
We should run the A one, not the B.
All right. Well,
That's just my
so
opinion.
round 2 is the Miata's TCR's Mount Panorama. So we're going to throw something a little different at that one.
Ooh, crash
And
fest.
then we'll break. We'll break for Thanksgiving, and then we kick off with round 2 of the Group 2 at Coda, and bring the Formula V's, SRFs at Sebring, and you can see the schedule. We just kind of rotate.
So how many rounds will each
7
type
total
have for the?
There's 7 rounds, 1 drop.
So this is going to go a lot.
It's going to take 6 months to get through it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice,
and
nice.
that's why I was saying Darren had stepped up to.
So how many
You know,
drops?
there's the
How many
one
drops do
drop,
you have? One drop.
one
Okay,
drop,
very good. Okay, good.
and what like the multi-car classes, like the TCRs and the GT4s, whatever you start with, that's what you're committed to the season. We're not going
Makes
to
sense.
change
That's good.
cars
Yeah.
every week.
Nice.
So
So can you change cars within the TCR class?
no, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
they're gonna
saying.
be.
Once you
Oh,
pick
okay.
one,
You have to
you're
pick one car and stick with it. Good. Yep.
yep.
Well, it sounds like it's
So
gonna be fun. And this is all
it,
on the YouTubes.
Yep. Slow motion
Yep.
broadcasting.
Thanks,
Woo!
slow
Steve.
motion's gonna carry it. Slow
And,
motion's carrying it with Sim Motion sponsoring it and putting up the money to make sure that
and you're
Mississippi can
starting it
get
a
it
little bit
for us.
earlier, I think, right? 8:30 or 8 or not
Yeah,
9, right?
we're gonna start. Excuse me. We're gonna start at 8:30. I planning on an hour and a half broadcast for groups 1 and 3, and no, group 1 is 2 hours. That's a 30-minute and a 40-minute race. Then groups 2 and 3 are going to be an hour and a half broadcast. That's the 70-minute race and the 2 30-minute races. So we're at 5 hours of broadcasting per round, 7 rounds, so you can figure that out. So yeah, he put up a pretty penny to make sure that we're covered. So
Thank you
huge
very
shout
much
out
for
to
doing
Darren
that.
and Sim Motion. And yeah, if you need your upgrades for your equipment, anything from sim rigs, that's where my sim rig came from, and my steering wheel. But any upgrades, anything. Also, if you have questions, Darren will be more than happy to have a chat with you. He's been around this stuff forever. I mean, I met him in
Yes.
2016.
I remember watching him
and,
YouTube,
yeah, him and
long
Sean
time ago.
Cole back in
Right.
the day. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yep.
What? Sim Pit or what was that called?
Sim motion.
No,
No,
the show.
no, the show, YouTube
They had
show
an old,
was
yeah, way
inside
back.
Sim race, inside sim racing,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Just a
So
Yeah.
little blurry.
let's call that a night, huh?
Well, before you do, Stevie, I'm going to help plug some product for you. This should work.
Yeah.
I say should work. I'm trying.
Daniel Zippy's going to put up something for me. So
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out the Ray Esports, you can go and find it on the rayesportsracing.com, I believe. But here's some of the merch. Stevie does get a little bit of the cut. If you're wondering who modeled it, I'm sorry, it wasn't Stevie. Maybe 30 years ago, it might have been Jason, but I don't know if he was quite around there. But you can see that there's all sorts of different gear as well, all sorts of different colors. You can get logos, so you can get the Formula V, 1600, Ray Esports, Racing Line, you name it, he's got it, ladies and gentlemen. So if that floats your boat, even one of the women's, nicely done. But if that floats your boat, that's it. It looks like there's 804 products to choose from. So if you by all means collect them all, I'm sure Stevie will give you a discount.
Was that Guido in a wig? I could have sworn. Flip back
Maybe.
I'm not going there.
Maybe.
I'm not going there.
All right.
My question is, what is the chart on the bottom of the page that we're looking at there? Is that sales or see there's a chart on the bottom of your page there you got there.
Oh, you're looking at a different
So
screen.
That's not on the not on the broadcast.
I don't know how I hit that button. I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah. So yeah, get your swag, your Christmas presents, whatever. Said I get a little bit of it. It's not much, but will help go towards the what we do here and the streams and hosting and all that stuff. So it does cost a little bit to do the extreme point system and some of the other stuff we do. So appreciate all that. But thank you guys for taking your time. Zippy for stepping in and helping out.
Happy to, sir.
JG is always awesome. Appreciate your insights. Jim, thanks for coming in and sharing your background and all the stuff that you've done and appreciate all the stuff you do for us.
Hey,
Formula
anytime
G
you guys
weekend.
need help, I would love to add to this discussion. I'm fascinated by it, the learning, the racing. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff we can
You
cover.
guys
here.
have done a
Yep.
you guys have done a really good job with the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Really beefed that up. So really good on you guys. So
It's
I
a
think
pretty easy thing to do. You know, when it's as fun as it is, you know, how can you not do it? You know,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
I think my
Yeah.
camera and my mic is biting the dust tonight. I don't know why. So
Yeah, the
with
the
that, we'll
cameras
call it a night.
cameras are something, but that's okay.
Hi
Thank,
Pam. Hi Michelle. Hi Guido.
Appreciate everybody.
Hey Trenton.
thank you very much. All right, I'm hitting the magic button. I just got to
All
find
right,
it.
we'll
See
see
you
you
next
guys
week,
next
y'all.
week.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.